Alrighty, what is good? It is January 31st. Last day of January. Overall, it has been a absolutely fantastic month. Couldn't have asked for a better open into the year. It was definitely some tougher PA, but if you are a well-seasoned trader, it was definitely a great month to take advantage of, especially if you were scalping on the low time frame charts and able to catch those moves in ranging markets. But with that being said, I do want to go over today. I do have evening classes again tonight that I have to attend, unfortunately, because they do take attendance. So I will not be able to do a live review tonight as I usually am able to. But getting into this, right? So today, news-wise, we had NFP change at 7:15. We had employment cost index at 7:30. And then we had FOMC, obviously, in PM at 1 and 1:30 CST. So with that in mind, usually when I see some red folder news in pre-market, I will entertain some setups if they are quality and give them a stab and see what it gives me. And that is what I did this morning. This was actually the only live trade that I took this morning on a funded account. I was just papering in AM because I already made a little over 1K. So I was fine and content with my profits. Especially being NFP week, I'm going to be a little bit more cautious in regards to risk on, risk off. But this setup specifically, right here on the 15-second, we had this fair value gap up here that we displaced off of. Ideally, if there was a clean break up there, I believe there was on the 30-second. But I was looking at the 15-second at the time. There was no clean break down here, so this wouldn't have been a valid entry. But I did like how we repriced off this fair value gap right here. As you can see, we respected it and displaced down with speed. And this right down here was the setup I actually took a stab at, and this was my winner for the day in AM, pre-market specifically. As you can see, we displaced below that low right there. We had that fair value gap formed, tagged in on the first candle, ended up taking just 2 points of heat before it went down 16.5 points. I actually think that was about 17 points, but I'm pulling off a little bit earlier than that. Just given the market conditions that we have experienced recently. But getting into the morning, obviously we have 8:30 open. You can see we range a little bit and then get a clean move up. We go up and take out this 5-minute buy side level right up there at 17.42625. And there was actually a quality setup soon after. This was a smidge before the 8:40 window, right? But if a quality setup presents, why not give a stab at it if it lines up with certain things? Obviously, you can see right here, we have this little Judas up, we displace back down, we close below these up close candles. In a sense, that's going to be your CISD, correct? So viewing that, you're anticipating price to continue down lower and take out some of this residing liquidity that's just stacked right down here, right? So that's going to be an easy target specifically for this. So this one is a little bit questionable on fill. I do believe somebody got it, but I'd say this is 50-50 if you get a fill or not. I've had this fill me a couple times. I've had it not fill me a couple times, and that's just part of it, especially with the precision like this, right? Obviously, you're tapped to the tick. It's really just going to be a given, a toss-up if you're going to get filled. But if you did, this one did end up running to full 18 points and actually did go down about 24 points. So can't complain about that right after open. I remember seeing that and asking if anyone caught it, and I believe someone did, like I said. But getting into the next setup on the 15-second, we have this one right here. Obviously, when we were in these ranging conditions, I was super picky. I was pretty much anticipating this for New York AM session because I believe we moved like 135 points overnight. So I was already expecting chop in the AM, not to mention there was really three factors, right? NFP week, large move overnight, right? We have FOMC and PM. So we can automatically, just a singular one of those, we can anticipate a choppy AM, let alone when we have three all in combination. That's when you need to be risk off and be very picky about your setups, but I still want to cover some of these, right? So this one specifically, right, we displaced below that low right there. It's a smooth low, but it's a prominent swing point. It's not next to anything, so this can be deemed as a break right here. And as you can see right there, you would have been tagged in there. This one would have went 8.5 points. Not the greatest, obviously. We were pretty choppy this morning. And then this one on Sim, I actually got stopped out on this because I was using a 10-point stop, but I think the people using 12 points would have been just fine. This one did come up. It was like a tick away from hitting your stop, and then did come down and would have been a TP break even, if anything, right? So this one, I was a huge fan of this. This is probably the best setup in my opinion throughout the whole morning session for two reasons, right? We come up here, obviously we take this liquidity right here. We come down, we engineer some sell side liquidity right here with a higher time frame low over there. So this is automatically going to be a magnet to, or for price to me, at least how I view it, right? So we come down here, we engineer that, we come up, we take that buy side right up there, we immediately displace back into the range, and I see this scalp setup present right here, and I'm like, absolutely, this is textbook, this is beautiful. This is something I would take 10 out of 10 times. No hesitation, as this is going to act as a magnet for price, especially in better conditions. And as you can see, we did range around a little bit, but good follow through. We did immediately start displacing through that low. But like I said, I was using a 10-point stop on this on sim. I was already off my main account since I got that little dub in pre-market. But overall, that was probably, in my opinion, the best quality setup in the morning. And I do believe we have one on the 30-second chart, which is my right screen right over here. This one, we kept holding this 1 minute right. We did reach the negative standard forward deviation off of my projection. So automatically, I'm kind of expecting a reversal there, right? But as you can see, we're starting to trail down right here, right? And we displace below this low. You could deem this as some engineered liquidity, like low resistance liquidity, right? We have this low, we have equal lows right here. We have that low. We do take that right there. That's kind of, I think I was off the charts, if I remember right on this one. But it's still a good example to cover and kind of what to look out for, right? As possible magnets for price. Obviously, we have equal lows right there that were actually not met, which is quite surprising, but not super surprising because the conditions we were in, right? We were just ranging. We would randomly just impulse up or range and then impulse knife down. And then those realistically are not conditions I want to entertain. That's why I didn't even trade technically a funded account in the AM session. I did pre-market because we were moving pretty clean in pre-market. I couldn't complain. And if I saw a good opportunity, obviously I'm going to take a stab at it. But in regards to setups, I believe that was it before the 10:30 window. I do believe there were a couple good setups. I remember one of my buddies. Yeah, this one right here. This one was pretty quality, right? This was pre-FOMC madness. We have this one right here. We come up back up into this M1, take out that liquidity, trail down a little bit, engineer some, take out those equal highs, displace down, right? And we get this low displaced through. So where would we set our limit? Right up there. You'd have been tagged in right there. And this one looks like it went, it went 12.25. So it would have hit your 6 and your 12 before coming stopping your last con at break even. But that's probably one of the more quality examples in PM. The only caveat I don't like about this is that we had that M1 for value gap, but kind of in regards to where price is, we're starting to displace down. So in a sense, you're wanting to see those disrespected as price is rolling over into a sell program, but that's going to come with more intuition. And I would say newer people to this, if any M1 for value gap like this were in one, I would not recommend taking it because it's easy to read it wrong and get in the wrong side of the market. But overall, I'm going to scan through some of these. I don't think I see anything really speaking out to me. This one maybe, if it would have filled you. No, that wouldn't have filled you. On the second candle. Let's take a peek at the 15-second real quick over there. This is a relatively good example right here, 15-second. So it seems I don't see any equal lows. Take that back. We got triple equal lows down here, but let me take a peek at the M1 real quick. Like I said, I was busy with some school stuff then, so I wasn't even on the charts. I was getting back from the gym, had to take a test. And I literally, for FOMC, I literally got on right before like 1:30. Let's see. So where's this? Okay, right there. Okay. So this would be relatively valid. So we have this bearish value gap, right? We inverse this IFEG. So we inverse that so we can automatically look away from these equal lows. We're expecting those to be safe for later since we have inversed a fair value gap. We're looking for that to support price to continue higher to some of these buy side levels over there. Let me draw some of these out real quick. There's that more prominent one, and then we have this one right above those external internal highs, right? So this one, we inverse that fair value gap like stated, right? We can deem those equal lows as not very important anymore. And you can see this one, you would have been tagged in right on that first candle. So a very quick reaction signifying speed. And this one, it looks like would have ran up to 18. Either that, if you just held it to that full target, or it closed at that buy side level. Either or, that was actually a pretty quality setup. Not too shabby. I believe it's really honestly kind of it that I want to cover for today. Like I said, I'm a little disappointed that I can't do it live because I absolutely love doing those. It's really, really enjoyable. But when school calls, I gotta duty calls, man. I mean, like I said, it's my last semester and I gotta finish strong. I gotta maintain a high GPA to keep the scholarship, so school's free, which is kind of nice. But other than that, like I said, once I get free from that, we'll be doing these every single day live, and I will answer any and all questions you all have. But in the meantime, it's going to be relatively spotty for lives once I get a good schedule down, because like I said, I have classes. Honestly, I need to leave in like 10 minutes, so I need to get this uploaded. But overall today, AM, as expected. I did not expect a great AM. I know some people were on the live for like 10 minutes and they got off because, I mean, conditions. If you look at them, that was the wise thing to do. Even though there were some quality setups, quality, not the greatest. They were relatively TP break even, so nothing too special today. Overall, not too shabby, like I said, but could be a lot better. We're experiencing some tougher market conditions. It's easy to get chopped up in these, as you can see, like I was saying. We range, impulse, range, impulse, range, impulse, range, range, impulse, range, impulse. That's what I'm trying to say and trying to explain is the main emphasis here, right, is recognize conditions, understand when you should be risk on versus risk off. And when you are in conditions like this, if you don't have a grasp or enough screen time to recognize it, you can get absolutely destroyed, and it can absolutely just murder your psychology, which is the worst thing that can happen. So that's why it's best to get screen time and understand specifically what I'm saying. Obviously, you can trade bad conditions, but you need to adjust some certain things. But as far as that goes, that's basically all the points I wanted to get across today before I get this uploaded. It's about a 13-minute video, so nothing too crazy. But as usual, if y'all have any questions regarding setups maybe you took that I didn't cover, like in PM or something, I believe I covered everything that was valid in the AM, if I remember right. But other than that, that is all, and I will catch y'all in the next video. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.